How's it going, everyone, and welcome to the number one Raiders podcast in the world. This is the Raiders Daily. My name is Steven Michaels, the best in the business. Let's get right to it. All right, so the Raiders are close, anyways, to signing a lease extension, or some kind of lease, to stay in Oakland for the 2019 season. I've been all over that situation. Listen, the deal is, Mark Davis, he wants to stay in the Bay Area, but more importantly, John Gruden wants to stay in the Bay Area, and he has told Mark Davis that that's where he wants to play. But let's not get things twisted here, okay? Mark Davis is only playing in Oakland because John Gruden wants him to. Also, if San Francisco, the Giants, the San Francisco Giants, if somehow the 49ers waived their territorial rights and it was a go, Mark Davis would be there in a heartbeat over Oakland. The NFL is not thrilled about the Raiders playing in Oakland, obviously. Oakland is suing the NFL. Instead of suing just the Raiders, they're suing the entire NFL. So it's not ideal for a team to be playing in a place where they're being sued, but this is the Raiders, and that is the dysfunction that is Oakland and their city hall and all that political nonsense. Now, I don't live there, so I don't know much about it, but I hear a lot about it, and I read a lot about it, obviously, like things like, hey, I would help pack Mark Davis's bags to leave, a city councilman said. Who says that to the press? Who says that? It's insane. But anyways, it looks like this is going to be over soon. The NFL has been pressuring Mark Davis to make a decision. Now, remember, they wanted Mark Davis to play at Levi's. They've been pretty much begging him just to play at Levi's and be done with it. The place is built for 2 stadiums. They could do it easily. But Mark Davis hates the 49ers stadium. He hates the Levi's. He cannot stand that place. Now, this guy doesn't have a lot of options. You know, I mean, I know Birmingham, Alabama said, hey, we can have him for a few games. And San Antonio and all these weird places. But, you know, that's not ideal. You can't be going back and forth. And Mark Davis is being picky. I mean, Fresno would have him, but hey, they have turf. I don't want to play there. I mean, it's crazy. You can't be that picky. You really can't, Mark Davis. But I will say this. Mark Davis, I mean, he's the guy, he sticks to it. If he's dead set on something, he will go for it. He's not a type of guy who breaks promises, that's for sure. Or not even breaks promises, breaks his own promise, breaks his own, own moral, ethical self. He wants to play on grass, he's going to play on grass. He didn't want to play at Levi's. Guess what? He's not playing at Levi's. He didn't really want to get the thing done in Oakland, but he knew, hey, where else am I going to go? Plus, John Gruden wants to play there. Plus, the practice and everything like that. So he's just going to do it. Screw it. Screw it. At the end of the day, who really cares? Because Oakland's not going to win any lawsuit anyways. They're not. They're not going to win anything. So it doesn't really matter. Plus, listen, I've been on the record saying this for, a couple of years now. I have a bad feeling. Now, remember, this is just my opinion. And from all indications, my opinion will be wrong. But I have a feeling that 2020 for Vegas, it will be delayed. Meaning they'll have to play in Oakland in 2020 as well. And I know when they're talking to Oakland, there is a 2020 option on the table, which would be, I believe it was like $10.9 million or some crazy number like that, just to play in 2020. Now, listen, I think the Raiders had to put that in there because they feel this, they know. I mean, I only know because of my experience with construction. my family's into construction, and I know things can get delayed. The smallest little thing in the world can delay a big project. And if something gets delayed, guess what? They're not playing 2020 in Vegas. They'll start in 2021. Now, I have to say, though, I haven't heard of any delays or anything like that. In fact, quite the opposite when it comes to the Vegas Stadium. They are selling tickets. They are doing way, way better than projected when it comes to Vegas. So any Bay Area talking head who says different is lying to you. They have an agenda like John Middlecoff, this former failed scout for one season with his hot takes. I know he's friends with Colin Cowherd, but the guy, it does not know football. I don't know how the guy even got to be a scout, to be honest with you. I think he walked in there and people didn't realize that, hey, this guy's a scout, get him out of here. He only lasted 1 year in the NFL. And now, I don't know what he does. He works for that cult, The Athletic, and he has a podcast that no one listens to and pays for a bunch of robots to follow him on Periscope. And come on, I mean, I know you may say, come on, that's crazy to say. You don't have facts to back that up. Well, when I go through the people who, are sending the hearts and things like that on his Periscope, let's just say some of those profiles that have 0 followers, 0 this, 0 that, and there's 3,000-4,000 of them. Come on. Who knows John Middlecoff? No one knows this guy. Come on, it's ridiculous. But there's a lot of people, by the way, in the Bay Area that I'm not really fond with. There's another guy on Twitter that calls himself Raiders Reporter. Who are you, dude? The guy's trying to throw shade at me. For no reason. I'm just minding my own business. And he throws some kind of shade at me about Marshawn Lynch. First of all, I didn't tweet anything about Marshawn Lynch. I don't know what he's even talking about. Probably someone has an account that looks like mine, what I'm guessing. But let's understand something. Now, I understand he has a podcast called, The Butthole Banter or something like that. Some Raider podcast. Another one of these fan casts that fail, that I dominate, I destroy. Check the numbers, pal. Check the numbers. My numbers against your numbers any day of the week. There's a reason why the entire Raider Nation, from Massachusetts to California to Alaska, tune into this show. Because I have the knowledge. I have the wisdom. I tell the fans what is going on, what the Raiders need to do to get better. I have opinions that matter. Yours do not. You have a Twitter handle that says Raiders Reporter, yet you're not a goddamn reporter. No one knows who you are. Your podcast is lame and boring and no one listens to it. You got 11 listeners. That's probably your cousins and your cousins' brothers. No one cares about you, Raiders Reporter. There's a lot of these bums out there. And listen, they're bums. They're jealous. They're jealous that I am the king of Raiders talk. I am the best in the world at what I do. I've been building this for years. And if you gotta come at me, but no, I am going to bury you. I am going to bury you deep, because you cannot beat me in a verbal war. I know things that you would never know. Okay? I've been doing this you could say, oh, he guesses about stuff. He lies about stuff. Really? Well, I keep receipts, pal. And guess what? I have a place called the Raiders Daily Elite that can disprove everything you say. Every single thing. Remember that. I am better than you. I will always be better than you. And you just want daddy's attention. I just gave it to you. There's your 2 seconds of fame. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you go talk about it in your black butt banter, wherever the hell it's called. What is it? Black hole. I'm giving you a free plug because you need it. The Black Hole Banter. Or I think that's the name of it anyways. I'm giving you a free plug. Raider Reporter. James, that's your first name? James? You're lame, James. And you're a bitch. You're a bitch who's not even in my league. So anyways, in other news, I spent 9 minutes talking about hacks and bitches. And another news. There was a story. It didn't get picked up because it's fake. I can assure you that it's fake. It's completely not real. A mentally ill person went on, I don't even know what it was, Instagram, I think it was, said PJ Hall had some kind of affair with him. He claims he's a male model, this guy. Now, keep in mind, we don't even know if the picture of this guy is even real. PJ Hall doesn't know this guy. The guy fouls a bunch of Raider players, not a bunch, fouled a few Raider players and a bunch of Atlanta Falcons players. And give you a little backstory on this whole thing. PJ Hall, it's random, right? But it's not really, because he has done this to other people. He tried to get money off people, but what happens is usually the person will just come out and say something right away, like, who the hell are you? You know what I mean? PJ Hall, on the other hand, didn't know it was even happening because he wasn't around, so he had no idea. Next thing you know, like these like blogs, no legit sports outlet, not even TMZ, picked it up because they vetted it and knew it was a lie, and really, really bad Photoshop, by the way. And so the whole thing was a lie. Yet I feel bad because some Raider fans and people just thought it was real. They really thought PJ Hall was, in this relationship with a man. Now listen, I can assure you 100%. First of all, the story is fake. Okay. So it's dead right there. Second of all, I have spoken to PJ Hall. And by the way, James, Raider reporter, if you don't believe me, you can go ask him. Go ahead. Tweet him if you need to. You know why? Because I talk to everyone. Because I'm the best in the business. And I know it's taken you guys a little time to understand that. But I actually talk to people. And you don't. They don't even know your name. They don't even know who the hell you are. They know me. Why? Because I have the #1 podcast about the Oakland Raiders in the entire universe. So everyone knows me. People from ESPN to NFL Network to the Oakland Raiders. They are very, very well aware of who I am and what I do. They will never know you. And that's why you want to put my name in your tweet, hoping to get, some rub off it. Hoping I'll talk about you. And I did. I gave you a little bit. But anyways, I spoke to PJ Hall. Felt bad for the kid. Remember, he's a young guy. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. He doesn't even know anyone who lives in Atlanta. And this guy apparently lives in Atlanta, which we don't know. Who knows? The guy deleted everything right away as soon as things got serious, as soon as the Raiders and his management said, hey, listen, we're going to call authorities on this guy if he's trying to extort money. So all of a sudden he deleted everything, posted something really fast just saying it was just a joke, and deleted that too. He should have probably kept that up. But nonetheless, the whole thing was just fake. But let me tell you something. Imagine being PJ Hall in that situation. That's a weird situation you're in. I also, by the way, spoke to PJ Hall's girlfriend. I spoke to both of them throughout the day. And I promised them. And I am, if anything, I am a man of my word. I promised these two that I would make sure this story gains no traction. I will make sure that Raider fans know that this isn't real. And let's just, pretend that the story was real. Who cares anyways? If a guy was honestly really gay, who cares? No one would care, right? I don't care. As long as he's getting sacks and being productive on the field, I don't care what he does off the field. But the fact is, he's not. The fact is, he has a girlfriend. And by the way, I don't know if you ever saw pictures of her. Trust me, PJ Hall is not gay. Okay? I mean, no way. So, she's a beautiful, 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 beautiful girl. And so the whole thing is just, but both of them, understandably, were kind of, shaken by this. Like, what do we do? It's not a good situation to be in. And you got teammates asking him if it's true, and he has to be like, are you kidding me? Most of them knew, by the way, it was fake. And I know it's fake just because I know the way PJ Hall writes, like most of his teammates. And the text, you know how you write and stuff. The text apparently that were photoshopped, they were photoshopped, but apparently that he wrote, he doesn't write like that. So it just, none of it really added up. But just want to let you guys know, in case you did see that story, that it is fake. I don't want to put any more attention to it because it's, it's kind of stupid. So just to put it to bed, it's fake. Okay. I think I talked about how Tom Flores got snubbed for the Hall of Fame. I believe I did. I think I was on here after the Super Bowl. Very disappointed in the Rams. They choked. Tom Flores gets snubbed in the Hall of Fame, of course, as long as Peter King has a vote. And guys like Jason Cole, who the hell gives Bleacher Report a vote for the Hall of Fame? I mean, if anyone takes Bleacher Report seriously, you have major problems. All they are is basically a place that recycles news stories. That's all they do. And sometimes they add their own little spin to it, which is garbage. They're garbage. Jason Cole shouldn't have a vote. Peter King has been trying his hardest for years to keep Tom Flores out. Things got to change around there. And the voting system. This is a guy. 2 Super Bowls as a head coach. 1 as a quarterback. First minority, quarterback. 1 as an assistant. He's the only one besides Mike Ditka that has achieved all this success. Yet he is not in the Hall of Fame. He is the only coach that has won 2 Super Bowls that is not in the Hall of Fame. Instead, Ty Law gets in and all these people. It's stupid. It's dumb. All right, moving on. Free agency is coming. This list, I mean, we can't even delve into the list right now. Can't dive into the list right now because there's going to be so many guys available. Now, guys that won't be available, I'm going to let you guys know right off the bat. Guys that will not be available. So if you read it on some Raider blog or some fan site, they're not going to be available. Okay, I hate that I have to even say this, but unfortunately, there are people who take advantage of fans and write bogus articles because they're dumb themselves and they don't understand football or anything about it. Okay, first of all, D Ford. He's not going to be a free agent. He's going to get tagged. Frank Clark, he's not going anywhere. Seattle is not going to let him go anywhere. DeMarcus Lawrence, Dallas Cowboys, not going anywhere. They'll tag the guy. He's going to stay. Okay, I just want to throw those names out there. If you see those guys' names, they're going to go to the Raiders. They're not. They're going to get tagged. Those guys, those teams are not going to let those guys leave. Now, and saying that, I'm telling you, this free agency batch of players that is going to be out there is going to be huge. Brandon Marshall, I believe he already got released. If not, he will be, just to let you know. CJ Mosley's going to be out there. Jason Pierre-Paul, spoiler alert, is going to be available. There's going to be so many guys. I know the Bucks are going to try shopping Gerald McCoy before they release them. They could just outright release them, but they'll probably try shopping them first. There's so much talent. So much talent. Now, you got to be careful, and Mike Mayock will be careful with this. You don't want to overspend. You can't do that. You don't want to overspend on one player. Can't do it. Just can't do it. The Raiders have so many needs. So what you want to do is maybe, dip your toes in the first wave of free agency. See if there's anyone really, really special enough, and then you pay that player. But maybe wait until the second wave, because there's going to be guys that should have been in the first wave that general managers back out of, and they end up in a second wave. Those are the guys you're going to want to get. They got a lot of needs. They got to get a middle linebacker. Every single year we go through this, right? Every single year, the Raiders start out with some middle linebacker. It's either like a Miles Burris to a Ben Heaney to someone who's not good enough, and then halfway through the season, dummy Reggie McKenzie finds a veteran that can play middle linebacker and saves the defense from being the laughingstock of the NFL because he finds someone who knows how to play middle linebacker. By the way, Reggie McKenzie lands a job in Miami. Good riddance. His brother will be following, probably not right away, I would imagine. Usually they keep these scouts until after the draft, since they already been working on the draft for this long. So after the draft, you're going to see some changes in the Raiders, scouting department, a bunch of changes. You're going to see brand new guys. They're also, by the way, going to be hiring a quarterback coach eventually. They did hire Morton as I don't know what kind of role they're calling it, offensive assistant. So what does that mean for Greg Olsen? I'll tell you. I'm going to give you a little something that I usually don't talk about in public forums, but I talk about this on the Raiders Daily Elite, the #1 subscription Raiders site in the world on Facebook, video shows daily, the best place in the world, the only place where you truly get a peek behind the curtain, and trust me, my members can vouch for that. There's stuff that goes on there that you would never see. Never. Anyways, listen, here's the deal. Greg Olsen has been offered 4 different jobs to leave the Raiders. That's why Morton was brought in, because if they lose Greg Olsen, then they have someone there in place. Now, they don't want to lose Greg Olsen. They don't. They like him. But, now they have Morton. If they had to move on from him, they could. If he wants to take another job, it's okay. So that's why Morton got hired, because Greg Olsen, I know for a fact, spoken to Miami, the college Miami, and I know he has offers from other NFL teams. Also, the Raiders special teams coach has offers elsewhere. So that's someone, Rich Biscotti, that John Gruden really wants to keep. So hopefully they're able to keep all these people on board. John Gruden wasn't expecting this many players, coaches to leave. You got to remember, this is a team that, everyone was saying was so terrible, yet now everyone wants their coaches. But they did get Brinston Buckner in there, defensive line coach. He's going to make the defensive line so much better. And that's why I say watch out for Gerald McCoy and Jason Pierre-Paul and former Tampa Bay defensive players. They all like Brinston Buckner. They all like him. So watch out for that in free agency. That could play a major role. So watch out for that. But Raiders, like I said, need a lot of help. They can get a lot of guys in free agency. They're going to have a lot of money. Pretty much the guys that are free agents for the Raiders, their own free agents, I don't see them signing many guys back, maybe 1 or 2, and that's it. Now, I know they had a little bit of talk with Jared Cook's agent, but I don't think it went very far. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It looks like he wants to test free agency. If that's the case, that's fine. The draft is loaded with tight ends. But Jared Cook, Gruden loves him, and the guy had major success with the Raiders. There's no denying that. So I don't know why he wouldn't want to stay. At the same time, I don't know what the Raiders are offering. I don't claim to know everything. That's one thing I don't know. I don't know the firm price that they're willing to go to. But we shall see if they keep Jared Cook or not. Listen, I don't even know. Let's all be honest here. We don't know 100% that the Raiders don't move on from Derek Carr. It seems like he's definitely going to be the quarterback for 2019 at least. It feels like he will be. But this is John Gruden. What if he falls in love with a Kyle Murray? and the Jacksonville Jaguars come around and they say, hey, we'll give you our first round pick for Derek Carr, I think, there might be some talk about doing it. I really do. So, but it's so hard. You can't just rule it out. At the same time, I do feel like Derek Carr will be the Raiders quarterback of 2019. I really do. I just don't see a different scenario. They could draft a quarterback later. I just don't see it. Also, in AFC West news, John Elway and his big teeth, who his teeth are so large, they obviously cover his eyes because he cannot hit on the right quarterback. Quarterback after quarterback, from Brock Osweiler to Trevor Siemian to Paxton Lynch to Case Keenum. I mean, how many quarterbacks is this guy going to go through to find the right quarterback? He still can't find one, so they go out and they get Joe Flacco at the end of his career. Now, I don't know how this is going to work, but I'll tell you one thing. This is looking, when I look at Joe Flacco and I look at Brock Osweiler, I just see an older Brock Osweiler. So, I don't know, this could end up bad for John Elway yet again. And if he fails with Flacco, right, if he fails with him, I think it's seriously time for the Broncos organization to say, hey, maybe John Elway doesn't know what he is doing. Coaches are getting fired. They can't get the right quarterback. It's ridiculous. It really is. Not to mention, no one's talking about Case Keenum in this situation. The guy got 1 year. 1 year in Denver. And then they said, okay, we're fine. We're moving on from you. 1 year? Listen, I don't think Case Keenum's a terrible quarterback. I think he's better off the bench. He has shown that. If I was the Raiders, and if I could get him cheap enough, they're paying A.J. McCarron $5 million. The Raiders. So, I mean, that's what he's making. $5 million bucks. I bet you can get Case Keenum for $5 million, around, maybe. If you can get Case Keenum for $5 million, I would take Case Keenum. And if Derek Carr ever got injured, I would feel great with Case Keenum in there in a John Gruden system. In fact, I bet you that's where Case Keenum would shine in that West Coast offense that John Gruden runs. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. He does. I mean, think about it. Case Keenum, he slides in the pocket when he needs to. That's something Derek Carr has to do better of. And he does the option plays. He runs when he throws. He does all these things that Gruden loves that Carr does not do. So, I mean, that would work. I'm not saying, by the way, that they're going to get rid of Derek Carr for Case Keenum. I'm saying he would be a good backup. But anyways, Joe Flacco is now in the AFC West. We'll see how he plays out. There's some fans I know like, oh no, the Raiders have to deal with Patrick Mahomes. Now they got to deal with Joe Flacco. First of all, I just want to say this. Patrick Mahomes played one season. I'm so sick of these people that are ready to crown this guy a Hall of Fame player after one frickin' season. I mean, give the kid a break. You want to put him in the Hall of Fame after one season, yet you don't want to put Tom Flores in the Hall of Fame, and he has I don't know how many Super Bowl rings the guy has. What, 4? He has one as a quarterback, he has 2 as a head coach, but you don't want to put him in, but you want to put Patrick Mahomes in. Patrick Mahomes, a guy who's played one season. I bet you Peter King would put Patrick Mahomes in the Hall of Fame right now if he retired over Tom Flores. And Jason Cole would do the same thing. Everyone was in love with Patrick Mahomes. Well, let me tell you something. I've watched this movie before. They get the tape on you, they get the film on you, and they will look at that film all off-season long, and they will see exactly what you do. Now, I already know what he does because I study him a lot. First of all, I always say, I've been saying it since, week 6, the guy's very lucky. I don't know how many throws where this guy literally throws the ball up in the air with his eyes closed. He's not even looking where he's throwing that ball. And Tyreek Hill runs underneath the ball to save it. And it looks like some kind of spectacular throw and catch when all it was a throwaway that could have easily been intercepted, but Tyreek Hill has the speed to run under the ball. The same thing with Travis Kelce. That guy has bailed out Patrick Mahomes multiple times. Yes, Patrick Mahomes makes some great, awesome throws when he does that sidearm thing. I'm not denying that at all. But what I'm saying is people are overrating him just a little bit. Let's wait to, let's wait to a little bit here. I mean, let's give him more than one season. Let's judge him maybe in his fourth season, not in his first season. I mean, Carson Wentz looked great in his first season, didn't look that great again. There's a lot of guys like that. Their first season, they look awesome. Look at Colin Kaepernick. He looked awesome at first. Next thing you know, the guy sucked so bad, they went 1-11 and Blaine Gabbert is playing. He couldn't beat out Blaine Gabbert, so he had to get attention somehow, and he got it. But, I mean, that's the way it goes. Colin Kaepernick was a shell of himself. I don't know what went wrong with the guy. I was a big fan of his. I liked the way he scrambled. He was like a Russell Wilson. I thought, but better, in my opinion, at the, early on. And then all of a sudden, the guy just started being terrible. But you got to be careful with that. But anyways, like I said, free agency, Raiders, about 20 to 30 new players the Raiders will have. They will hire another coach pretty soon, by the way. And, and it looks like they will be staying in Oakland. It looks like that for now. But, like I've been told by someone who works with the Raiders, who is pretty much doing the deal to keep the Raiders there, it's Oakland. You never know. Something could happen the very last second. Yeah, you gotta read every single detail, and the Raiders have their lawyers looking at every single piece of paper, just in case. But all signs point to the Raiders playing in Oakland in 2019. So that's good. That's the good news, everyone. I'm gonna check out of here now. Thank you for listening, everyone. Sorry I spent the first 5 minutes trashing people, but hey, when you come after me, I gotta come after you. And I buried them. I'll never talk about them again. They don't exist anymore. They're 10 feet in the ground. And no one hears them, just like no one hears their podcast. But everyone hears this one, the best in the world. Thank you, everyone. This is the Raiders Daily. My name is Steven Michaels.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.